Hi team, good to see you. In this video, I'll take you through a process that is so simple, but oftentimes made complicated by a lot of companies. But I'd like to share with you how we normally do this at Relab when we are basically tasked to come up with a product roadmap. So we focus on lean practices, things that focus on the ability for teams to move forward without having to compromise quality, without having to spend too much time. So this is a process that could be run by anyone. You don't have to be necessarily an expert to be able to do this, but you need to have the right experts around you to inform you on decisions and insights. To do this, I'd like to jump into my mural and take you through some of the most important components to have before building your product roadmap. Now, assuming that you know what your business goal is, or your client's business goal is, or the stakeholder's business goal is, and you also know clearly who the users are and which market you're targeting, and have a clear indication as to what the product or service's value proposition is, then typically we're in a good place to be able to start thinking about breaking down a product roadmap and think about how to phase your delivery or production work that is required for your product or services. The most important components here are basically your user journey maps. So as I said, it's important for you to know the different types of users that you're interacting with. In this example, I've got one user who's a wannabe master chef. She's also a stay-at-home mom. She loves to cook. And just for context, the product that we're talking about here is a pre-made meal targeted for those who want to have a really nice dinner but don't have to spend a lot of time and money, essentially. Okay, but without having to spend too much time on what the actual product here is, I just want to take you through the components that are required. So the user journey map. An example of a user journey map is something like this. I do have plenty of other videos around user journey maps, and we'll make sure that we link it down in the description below. And also we'll link it somewhere in this video over here for you to refer to. So essentially what we're looking at here is different user journey maps of different types of users for the same product or service, right? So we've got 4 here. And you can see that with each user journey map, there are highlights. Okay, there are highlights that basically defines the priority from the business perspective and potentially the user's perspective as well. So as you can see, somewhere here we've got priority 1, there's priority 2, and priority 3. Same thing with the rest of the other ones down here. So it's prioritized for a reason, because the next thing that I'd like to take you through is essentially the process of prioritizing the user experience or the features that are related to that particular user experience. So if I take this one as an example, this map here, we've got different priorities, but if I focus on priority 1, I want to make sure that within this user journey or this process of the user interacting with our product or service, let's say in this case, the user is viewing, cooking class listing pages, viewing the different types of group types. This is like filtering, right? And then be able to actually read the class detail page, look at information such as price, video, so on and so forth, read what others say, for example, review. And as we're going through this user experience or this customer experience within their journey, we're able to start thinking about the features that are required to do that. So once we do that, we create cards of features and prioritize them accordingly. Now, I do have another video as well that we'll make sure that we link in this video around how to use this prioritization matrix. Basically, it's an impact effort 2x2 matrix, because you have a map, a user journey map, and you're able to prioritize which components or which areas of the user journey that is the most important to the business right now, and be able to pull out features or call out experiences that are relevant to that part of the journey, and call out the features that are required to basically implement that experience, and then map it out this way that you're able to find features or experiences that are more of a quick win, which means it's high impact but low effort, or features that require more investment, more time, more thinking, and that's typically categorized as major projects, which means the team will need to think about it, plan, and schedule it. And that's typically the bigger jobs that are higher of effort. So it's high effort, but has been identified as important, and it's high impact to the business. And throughout this process, sometimes you'll find features that are low effort, low impact, or high effort, low impact. And with those features, you kind of don't want to focus too much on that because they bring low impact to the business. So typically the priority ends up being the quick wins first, which is high effort, high impact. Means you can actually execute this in the next 2 to 3 weeks, 1 month even, but it's basically easy to do, won't cost too much time, that sort of thing, right? So that's why it's high impact and low effort, versus the other ones that you need to plan and schedule, major projects. So you want to prioritize it from the left to the right, or in this view, we're looking at top left to top right. Okay, so once you have it listed this way, you'll be able to start looking at each of these features and create a project or a set of delivery that is basically relevant to the order of that. So what I would normally do is start pulling this out and create projects and map it for the next 12 months or 4 quarters. Now in this example, they were aiming for an MVP. So the MVP was defined by things that were in between quick wins and major projects, and we start calling out the MVP. Okay, we need to have the home page, the recipe listing page. So suddenly we know an MVP means we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages, let's say. And there are all of those other things that the stakeholders thought was important to launch with, but then has been defined out of scope for the MVP, and that could be called as whether it's phase 1 or phase 2, future state phase 1, future state phase 2. But once you have it broken down this way, and categorize it by all means if you would like to strategically as a business, but once we get that, that's sort of your lean product roadmap, which then allows you to communicate it effectively to everyone in the team or the different stakeholders, or even when you go and meet your suppliers such as tech companies or developers, you'll be able to say, look, our MVP priority is this. We also know that in the horizon, we do know that we want to release future states that have these type of features. And in addition to that, towards the end of the year or the end of the financial year, we want to look into this phase 2. And I understand that specifics might be to be confirmed, but we have really clear requirements for our MVP. But anyway, once you have a roadmap such as this, you'll be able to start communicating effectively with all parties and basically eliminate some of those questions that would normally come up. The great thing of being able to document it this way as well, in a simple way without having to create Gantt charts that are overwhelming, is for you to be able to come back here when required by the end of quarter 2, for example, to actually tweak it and make changes as required. Okay? Hopefully that's helpful. If you do have any questions, please write down in the comments down below or feel free to email us. But otherwise, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with those friends and colleagues and other professionals that might benefit from it. But otherwise, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.